Conventional wisdom says China is on its way to global superpower status, but while its growth has been impressive, the nation requires reforms, both economic and political, to remain stable. This week's National Journal magazine cover story examines some often ignored hurdles China faces as it transitions from a nation of manufacturers to one of consumers. And its president, Xi Jinping, is feeling pressure to keep up the nation's breakneck rate for economic expansion while maintaining the Communist Party's chokehold on political expression. Michael Hirsch and Adam Kushner wrote this week's piece.
China needs a certain amount of growth in order to maintain social stability. Its legal system is still very, very immature. President Xi has assured that China will become more reformed in the economic sphere, but at the same time in the political sphere he seems to be cracking down. People who have expressed free speech that the state hasn't especially liked in recent months and recent years have faced an especially hard time in jail sentences.
By some measures, China will have the world's largest economy within a decade, and its 2013 growth would be remarkable for the U.S. or for Europe. But that growth has actually slowed to China's lowest level in 23 years. And even as the air over major cities like Beijing and Harbin showed the toll of out-of-control industry, China has begun losing the manufacturing jobs its economy is built on to countries with cheaper labor. And it will have to produce 10 million jobs each year to keep up with its extreme urbanization. Then tack on China's coming demographic issues. Its one-child policy has resulted in many more men than women, and an aging population that will rely heavily on pensions and state support, more so than in the rest of the first world. But even as the Obama administration pivots to Asia and looks to provide a counterweight to China, the U.S. still has a lot to gain from continued economic success in the Far East nation.
China's been the biggest source of global growth in the last decade, and so if it can't grow and be stable at the same rate, that's going to be a big problem for the United States. They're the biggest source of our imports, and we're the biggest source for their exports, so we depend very closely on each other.